Welcome back to Fourth and Forever, a very special guest today. You know her from Colin Cowherd and The Herd. You know her from the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. You also know her from Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. This is Miss Joy Taylor. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. I feel very special. This is a very nice set. You got a whole thing going on.
It's going. I like your matching outfit. I like your Jackie Robinson jersey.
Thank you. You know, it's Dodgers blue today. I feel, I live in Los Angeles. I figured I'd show some respect.
Brooklyn Dodgers, but we'll take it.
Yeah, they count those championships out here.
That's right. So speaking of championships, Dodgers win a championship.
Congratulations.
I already know what you're going to say.
No, I am. I'm really happy for Los Angeles. I'm not a hater. I thought that the Lakers had an incredible season. Yeah. Obviously, they beat my Heat. But they were the better team. I'm with Pat Riley. I wish Gorham would have been out there. But they still would have won. They're supposed to win. With everything that happened with Kobe and the bubble, I think they had a tremendous season. So I'm happy for the Lakers. And I'm happy for the Dodgers. They had an incredible season. Baseball was amazing. It was great to have it back. The World Series was awesome. It was fun. And everyone celebrated.
Let's talk about celebrating. It sounds like you didn't celebrate.
I did celebrate.
Joy actually has a very important announcement today.
So
a retirement announcement.
It is a retirement.
You heard it here on Fourth and Forever.
It's like a Jay-Z retirement.
Breaking news.
It's a soft retirement.
Joy Taylor with the news. And
Joy
that's
Taylor
the news.
with the news. So I'm known as someone who hands out hot L's on Twitter or social media all day. Because I'm very clever, and it's not hard to do because most people on social media have no idea what they're talking about. So troll slayer, if you will. I'm from Pittsburgh.
The self-proclaimed troll slayer.
I didn't say, it's not self-proclaimed.
Somebody else gave you the title.
Yeah, people enjoy this, right? They enjoy the roastings, daily roastings of these idiots on Twitter. And it doesn't really drain me, it doesn't bother me, the trolls, because I'm not the kind of person that gets affected by someone's opinion who I don't respect.
Right.
If I don't respect your opinion, I don't care what you think about me.
Sure.
It's irrelevant. Are you signing my check? No, I don't care. And you're not going to say this to me in person. I mean, you've dealt with this before. Everyone has. So it's just a matter of how you're wired as a person if it's going to bother you. But last night on Twitter, it wasn't so much of what people were saying to me that bothered me. It was just so irrational. And we just live in this space in society where it's like we're living in idiocracy. We've got our veins hooked up to Mountain Dew or something. What planet? Do we get sucked into a black hole?
God, I love Mountain Dew though. Okay, keep going.
I'm allergic to Diet Mountain Dew.
To Diet Mountain Dew?
Fun Joy Taylor fact, yeah.
But regular Mountain Dew, you're good?
I mean, I haven't had regular Mountain Dew in 12 years.
Yeah, me neither.
But you drink Mountain Dew?
I had Mountain Dew yesterday.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, so you started on social media saying something.
Well, I was just confused because this situation with Justin Turner, where he tested positive and was pulled from the game.
Pulled
from the game, which was the right thing to do. And then they win the championship.
But didn't he test positive before the game?
So it was inconclusive, and then they tested again, I guess.
Okay.
It was a little bit of shaky, kind of all over the place reporting, but we all narrowed it down to he's positive.
Okay.
And
positive, you're out. Boom, gets pulled out of the game.
Right. And I mean, it sucks. It's horrible. That's the worst. Obviously, he's in the World Series.
Right.
nobody wants that. But then he's back on the field after the game, and I'm like, I must be crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. I have just realized I have to either be superior intellectually than the rest of the world, or I am the crazy person. Because if you test positive for COVID, I don't understand how you're on a field with everyone else who's not positive for COVID.
And it didn't seem like anybody cared, right?
Well, why do they care? They don't care. I'm not blaming his teammates. The only person that's responsible for what he does is him. The baseball is not responsible. The commissioner's not responsible. The Dodgers aren't responsible. He's the one that chose to go back on the field. And that's his choice. And his teammates have clearly said they don't care.
What if he went out with a mask?
I think that would be better, but you're still positive for corona. I want to make an announcement. If you come around me and you're positive for corona, you know you have corona, you better be able to fight. I mean that. I will send you to the hospital. I will give you a reason to have to go to the hospital. If you know you have corona and you come around me, I will fight you. Consequences be damned. I promise you that. But they don't seem to care. But everyone was telling me I'm crazy and I'm a crazy liberal. I'm like, I don't know. I don't get what's happening.
And so you've officially retired from Twitter.
Well, yeah. So it was just a monsoon of stupidity, and it bothered me. I went to sleep. I was trying to go to sleep, and I was just laying there like, I don't know if we make it to 2021. And I'm concerned. I'm worried. I wasn't worried. I'm a realist, so I fluctuate from, positive in some situations where people are very frantic. I move back and forth because I don't like to overreact. Sure. I think it doesn't help anything to panic. And I've never been panicky about COVID. I think that this is a managing situation. The leagues have done an unbelievable job. We have sports back. We just had a World Series. We just had an NBA season. We're in the middle of a football season. It's incredible what they've been able to do.
I wonder if there's any fallout, like if anybody else gets infected.
I mean, I hope not. I pray to God no one else gets infected. That'd be awful. I just couldn't. I didn't even say anything outrageous. I was just like, why does that make sense? And people were like, roar!
And freaked out.
It's like an army of dumb. I can't do it anymore. I just gave up. I made a conscious decision this morning. I am freeing myself of the chains of nonsense. So yell into the clouds all you want. I'm not off Twitter. I'm not slaying idiots anymore.
So this isn't a real retirement.
It's like a Jay-Z retirement. I'm like retiring.
Okay.
I might get bored again and allow them back in, but I need to protect my energy. I have big plans. I'm too brilliant to be bothered with these idiots.
Didn't Colin say Twitter's the bathroom wall of the internet? Doesn't he say that?
Colin is not a big fan of Twitter outrage, and neither am I. I am not an outraged person. I wasn't even outraged by it. I was just like, I can't, I'm just really confused. Surprised that you would do that. I wasn't even outraged. I'm not even mad. And people are coming at me like I said something outrageous. I'm like,
get off my lawn.
Would you want someone? I don't care. People have missed funerals. People haven't seen their family all year. People haven't been able to travel. People have missed college graduations, high school graduations. Like,
yeah.
What am I missing here?
Seems a little insensitive.
It's his choice, right? Yes, I think it's fair to say it was insensitive. But I'm just confused as to why everyone is acting like I'm crazy for pointing out that he's sitting next to people with no mask on.
Right.
Well, he's positive for corona. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Apparently, they were handing out doctorates over COVID. Everyone's a doctor now. I thought it was something that you had to accomplish. Like you have to go to medical school and study, diseases. But apparently, you just have to sign up for a Twitter account these days.
Well,
I don't have strong opinions about it.
Almost retirement announcement.
It's like a McGregor retirement.
Okay, that's fair. Talk to us about how you grew up in the Steel City, Pittsburgh native, but you're not a Steelers fan.
I am a Steelers fan, but I am a Steelers fan. This is how I work. So I grew up obviously in Pittsburgh. Dan Marino is a Pitt guy.
Yeah.
If you grew up in Pittsburgh, you're generally a Pitt or Penn State person.
Right.
So I was a Pitt person. I love Dan Marino. Dan Marino played for the Dolphins. So I've kind of always liked the Dolphins. Then obviously my brother went there in 97.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to be in Pittsburgh and not at least like the Steelers. So I always root for the Steelers unless they're playing
the Dolphins.
The Dolphins or the Jets in 2010. We're not going to bring up old stuff.
Yeah.
That was rough. But yeah, I mean, I root for the Steelers once the Dolphins are out of the playoff race because the Steelers are always competitive.
That's fair.
So I'm like all in on the Dolphins till about like week 7.
Okay.
And then I ride the Steelers.
What about this year with Tua?
I'm very excited for Tua.
You think it was the right move?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Without question.
At the right time?
Yes.
Fitz is playing well.
Okay.
Hit me. Go ahead. Tell me. Go ahead, GM Joy Taylor.
Fitz is a wonderful man. He went to Harvard. Did you know that?
Know.
Yeah. It's a joke. Every time they mention Fitz, they say he goes to Harvard. He went to Harvard. He's a wonderful man. He's been a great teammate, a great locker room guy. Everyone loves him. He's got an awesome beard. Seems like a nice family man. And they're 3-3.
Okay.
People are acting like they're 6-0 or something. They're 3-3.
Okay.
Okay. They drafted Tua in the first round, number 5 overall.
Okay.
He's the future of the franchise. The problem with Miami and Dolphins fans is they weren't raised in Pittsburgh. So for the Steelers, if you don't win a Super Bowl, that is a failure of a season.
Right.
They're not like trying to make the playoffs. That's not how the Steelers work.
Right.
Now, obviously, they don't win a championship every year, but the expectation is you are competing for a championship every single year if you're the Steelers. That's why they have 6 of them. Dolphins fans are like, it's exciting if we make the playoffs.
Right.
And that's not how Brian Flores operates. That's not how he came up in the NFL. And that's not how the front office of the Miami Dolphins works anymore. Thank God that they have the vision to say it's not a win for us to just get to the playoffs this year. They have to see what they have in Tua. And if you look at how people are winning championships in the NFL right now, it's with young quarterbacks, and they can bring in expensive veteran talent because they haven't had to pay their young quarterback. Justin Herbert's killing it.
Yep.
he's really the one that started the clock for Tua. Because once Justin Herbert got in,
right?
yeah, because we knew Burrow was going to start week 1.
Right.
That was not a question. We really weren't sure when we were going to see Herbert. But once he came in, it's like, well, if he's doing that good.
He's balling.
We need to see what we have in Tua. So I understand everyone, like, he's playing well. But here's the other thing also. I mean, we know what Fitz is. It's just around the corner. Like, the madness is right there. It's just like a game or two away.
And you think they got it, like, before?
Yeah, like, bail early. Bail just a little bit too soon rather than waiting for the madness to commence. They had a bye week, so it's 2 weeks for Tua to prepare. And also, these guys are seeing him in practice. They know what he can do. I think it's just, you have to build for the future.
Yeah.
And making it to the now, if you make playoffs with Tua, that is a successful season because you're building and working towards the next step. But making the playoffs with Fitzpatrick, you're not going to win a playoff game. And what did you achieve? And that was a whole year of Tua not playing.
Do they make the playoffs this year?
I don't think so. No, but I'm uncomfortable with that.
The Bills.
I think the Bills win the division still. I know everyone's like really down on the Bills. The Jets are a disaster.
So it's New England and Buffalo.
Well, I did think it was between New England and Buffalo, but New England looks terrible now as well.
Is that a final for that? Like, is Cam, what do you think? 3 picks this last week?
I thought this week was really a must-win game for the Patriots. So for
that to 2-4?
Yeah. So for that to be how that game went, it really, and I don't like to be someone who reacts game to game.
I agree.
But it's hard when you see that.
I mean,
they had 8 players opt out. They might be trading Stephon Gilmore. I want to know what Belichick's up to. I know he's up to something. I know he is.
It's got to be. But my thing, and I talked about this with Scotty today, is if you take Cam out, there goes your dual threat, right? There goes all that cool run stuff.
He's their best player.
Right. That's your biggest threat on offense. So then Hoyer or Stidham come in with the same roster essentially that they had last year on offense with Brady, maybe a slightly better. But if they weren't good enough with Tom, what makes you think these two guys are going to be good enough to keep that ship afloat? Peter
King talked about this week, that he's not surprised that Brady left because...
You think he saw it?
Yeah, Brady saw it, and he wasn't... No one could... If Brady can't be successful there all the time that he's been there, and it's Tom Brady, and you're seeing what he's doing this year, why is anyone else going to be able to?
Yeah.
But I didn't buy that Stidham Hoyer stuff before the season started anyway.
That they were going to start?
No. I think before they did the Cam move that they were going to start them, but everyone was trying to tell us, like, Stidham is the future of the
think
Patriots.
That was just misinformation from the Death Star?
Yeah. No disrespect, but I certainly did not believe that Stidham was the future of the franchise, and he's not. And Cam may not be either, but I think this is now becoming a bigger deal for Cam than it is for the Patriots, because I think Cam has to show that he is still a capable quarterback.
Yeah.
And this is like a resume builder situation for him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, the talent in New England is not helping him. He is the best player that they have.
That's a tough deal.
It's very tough. And I'm a Cam fan. I love Cam Newton.
I wanted him to do well.
I did too.
Whether you're a fan or not, everybody just kind of loves that.
Well, he's a star.
Story.
He's a natural star.
Yeah.
And I root for interesting, and he is, at the end of the day, always interesting.
Yeah,
good, bad, in between. He's just one of those players that just has that it factor.
Yeah, I agree. Switching gears
to
you coming up in the sports broadcasting space, Barry University, work on the noise.
Yeah.
Favorite memory from there?
I went there, and it was my junior year. I transferred there, and it was in like one of my first broadcasting classes, and my favorite professor, Connie Hicks, was brought in someone from the radio station to like talk to the class. It was like Media 101 or whatever. I guess it would be like 301, not 101. So they were like, yeah, we need people to come fill slots and host, and like you can totally make your own show. You just get it approved with us, and you can talk about whatever you want. Like you can do a political show, you can do a sports show, you can do a talk show, you can do a music show, like
and you did sports.
Nature show, whatever. And I was confused. I was like, what? First of all, A, we have a radio station. I didn't know that. And B, like, why isn't everyone signing up? Like, how are there slots available? Like, this is awesome. I would love to go try and do my own show. And it broadcasts around the campus. So if people don't really hear it, you can stream it. This was 2007. So
guys, who's not signing up for this opportunity to broadcast to 10 people?
13 people in the cafeteria. But for me, it was a great opportunity. Like, I wanted to cut my teeth in radio.
Get reps.
And you had to do everything. You had to run the board and edit and put the streaming up and get the levels and do everything. So I did it was like a talk show. And so I'd bring in people to interview, and I'd do like a sports update and music update. He did not come down to Berry University.
Oh,
no.
What a jerk!
No, I didn't. I pick my spots with him with what I ask him to do, because he would have, but it wasn't necessary. But then I also started interning for 560 QAM with the Joe Rose show. Okay. And that was from 6 to 10 in the morning. So there were many rough mornings.
Yeah, I bet, especially in college.
Yes.
And after college.
And at that point in college, I was no longer like dorm. I hadn't lived in the dorm since my freshman year. So at this point, I'm like functioning adult is a stretch, but I'm an adult. So I'm living off campus in an apartment.
Burning in at both ends. That's all you have to say.
But I have no idea how I did that.
Most people don't.
I don't. I can't even, the thought of staying up till like 3 in the morning and then being up at 6 to work all day and go to class, like, if people ask me to go to dinner at 9 p.m., I'm like, 9 in the morning? Like, what are you talking about? Absolutely not. It's not even a question. So I'm going to get 30 minutes less of sleep? Like, not even possible.
But I mean, in college, even the athletes, like, stay up, you have a 6 a.m. workout on Friday. And
I mean, could you imagine doing that now?
Not now. If somebody said next week you have to do it, or, like there's a gun to my head,
I could do it.
I'm sure I could figure it out.
I could do it for... But I was pretty responsible, though. So after I did that, I was. After I did that that internship, then I got an internship with Power 96, which is a music and entertainment station.
We skipped over a bunch of your stuff. We went right to the ticket.
Oh, yeah, there was... Yeah, no, I had a lot of work. I did a lot of work. I did the show at Berry with a full set of classes and 2 jobs and the internship for my entire time at Berry. So I was interning. I was doing all that for the entire time I was at Berry.
Toughest obstacle other than being a female in this space? Because it was hard for me transitioning, and I had a ton of opportunities, so it's different. But just getting comfortable talking on camera, saying more than I'm used to. As a player, you keep everything.
That's probably it. It's harder for players, I think, because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Yeah. You have friends. You don't want to be critical of.
I hate criticizing players.
Yeah, but I think it's really important in this business. I always tell people who are young, who are trying to get in the business, it's super important to decide what you want to do. And that can change throughout your career. But if you don't have a vision, like a goal, and maybe that person doesn't exist, like maybe that talent or that show that you want to do doesn't exist, but still visualize it. If you don't know what you want to do, it can be really hard. Like if you love college football, you want to be a college football sideline reporter. Awesome. There's a path for that. Like you can talk to certain people and get in certain places, do internships here. Like there's ways to get to that. If you want to be Skip Bayless, like there's a path to that. Right. If you want to be Colin, there's a different path to that. Like we do a radio simulcast. Undisputed is not radio. Like if you know what you want to do, it's so much easier to get there. It's still going to be really difficult. And you're not going to make any money for a really long time. Yeah. But at least you'll know what's the next step that you should take. And then what's the next step. Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be a personality. Like I wanted to give my opinion and like not necessarily Skip or Colin, but I do love radio. Yeah. So I've kind of always default to the radio format. I love Howard Stern. So I've always said I wanted to be the Howard Stern of sports.
Ah, very good.
So, that may morph over time.
Howard Stern of sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's default that I'm a woman, so I say it for everything.
Good point. You say that every time.
I don't know. I guess I kind of I'm dressed like a tomboy right now.
But obviously obstacles relating to being a female? Were there just people like, what do you know about sports? You're a girl.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every day.
I feel like that's
every day. Always.
It's kind of like the stereotype, right?
It's weird.
Because you never play.
I was thinking about that before I came over here. Like, why? Like, what is it that's so different for women in the business? And I think the difference is if you say something that doesn't necessarily make sense, or you say a guy went to a different college than he did, or it was a different play that was run. Like, you make a mistake because you're talking, and in conversations you skip over words, and you're talking. If you do it, maybe someone will pick it up and be like, "Hey, man, he really went to UConn."
Yeah, I've gotten that before, but yes.
But they're not like, "Sanchez doesn't know football."
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
I get it.
So it's like, it's a default for women.
Yeah.
If we make a mistake, we don't know what we're talking about and don't belong in this space.
Yeah.
Whereas and like, who cares what people say? Again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If they're signing your check, then you should care. But other than that, it doesn't matter what the average person that sits at a sports bar and,
of course,
drinks Blue Moons thinks. I love Blue Moon. That's not a diss. It's actually like one of the only beers.
She likes Mountain Dew too.
I like Blue Moon and Modelo.
Oh.
But yeah, that's what it is. Like, it's always a default. And that pours over into the industry too, because it's not just a stereotype of like the idiots on social media or wherever watching at home. You have to be better than everybody.
Of course.
Which I don't think is a burden. Like, sometimes it's annoying, like, all right, so now I have to be coming early. I have to prove myself again. But it makes you better as a talent. So, is it fair? No, but nothing in life is fair. So you can complain about it or you can deal with it. And then when you get an opportunity to make things more fair for other people, do that. When you can hire someone, hire a woman, hire a black woman.
Let her know, Joy.
But you have the opportunity to give opportunities to other people, then that's what you do.
Right.
So I think that's how you actually like make change.
What about, you said something briefly about your brother in 2010. What does he say about that season? Or what do you think
I always
about
embarrass him with that season because I always
Why?
Because I always say it's the best season of his career because it was, as far as the team's success.
I mean, the kid was playing pretty good.
Listen, I bring you up all the time. And lately we've been talking a lot about the Jets because they're super awful and they may get the opportunity to take Trevor Lawrence.
We're going to get there. Don't jump the gun on me.
Okay, I'm not. I'm just saying we talk about it a lot. And I say it, like I said it today. I was like, the Jets, we compare the Jets to every other dysfunctional organization. But like 2010, they were in the AFC Championship game. So obviously that was a decade ago. But like, don't just put them in the same category as the Bengals or the Browns. Like they're not that. So yeah, I love that year. And I mean, we talked so much trash about the Jets for so long as Dolphins fans that it was so weird. Like I remember all of it, like literally like it was yesterday. It was just such a crazy sequence of events because Jason had to announce that he was going to the Jets because the Dolphins didn't give him an offer.
Right.
And he obviously wasn't done playing. And the Jets wanted him.
I remember Rex telling me this in the hallway. He said, we might sign Big 99 from Miami. Don't say anything. And I was like, what? Jason Taylor? I'm like, he's like the ultimate Dolphin. That doesn't work here. He's like, just don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was really crazy. And Dolphins fans were pissed, but they didn't know. And I'm not going to tell the backstory because Jason will kill me. But yeah, he had to go because like this is a business and it's his job to play football and he's not done playing yet. So
we were on Hard Knocks.
Yes, yes, and that was when Hard Knocks was like
it's pretty cool.
Everyone watched Hard Knocks. He had to make the announcement, so all the reporters came to his foundation office. Mm-hmm. And he made the announcement, and well, before he made the announcement, actually, he was like back in the back of the foundation offices in his office, and he was so upset, like whatever I'm telling you. He was like crying, upset because he knew like Dolphins fans are going to freak out. He was worried about, What
did you say when he first told you? You
I was
said,
like,
shut up.
I mean, you don't know what I said, but I'm not.
Don't go to that trash ass franchise with that bullshit quarterback. Tell me what you said.
No. I wanted him to go.
I'm just kidding.
I wanted him to go. He should go. I was pissed at the Dolphins.
Yeah, I figured.
Like, let him finish his career here. Yeah. All he's done for this organization. But it was actually a learning moment for me, which I now carry into the business. That there's just no loyalty in professional sports, and that's fine as long as you know that. I still think Jason's a very loyal person, and he's involved with the Dolphins organization now, and like they're amazing with him, and he loves them, and everything was fine. Obviously, he finished his career there. But Dolphins fans freaked out. I bet. And they were like calling the foundation. They were chasing me through the parking lot.
Oh, they got mad at you too?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to fight, obviously, but his wife at the time was like, "Let's get in the car." It was a good choice. Luckily, in these situations, I'm usually with level-headed people. So, but it was just crazy, and it was such a fun season.
I know.
And it was ironically ended by the Steelers, which was wild. But the regular season game that you guys played against the Steelers, you won
in the snow at their place.
And Jason, I think he sacked Ben for a safety, if I remember.
I think that's right.
And I almost got in a fight at that game as well because I was super obnoxious. Like, I was on a whole nother level. 'Cause I'm sure you don't remember, but it was absolutely freezing.
Oh, it's freezing.
And I don't do the cold at all.
Yeah.
So I went down to my friend's.
The championship game was cold as heck, too.
Yeah. My friend bartended at a bar on North Shore.
Okay.
Walking distance from, they have that little space
Strip.
down there, strip. So I went pre-gamed there before I came to the game.
So did I.
I can't. Well, he did a good job because I couldn't stand the cold out there. So I was maybe a little intoxicated, but I was really obnoxious, like screaming the whole time. And Steeler fans were so pissed at me. They were throwing hot dogs at me. This man in front of me just got so fed up with my yelling. He was this like massive mountain man with this big beard. And he just stood up and got like this far away from my face and was like, "Shut the bleep up!" Like to the point where everyone around me was like, "My God, sir! Like you can't yell at her like that."
Yes, she's annoying, but that's rude, sir.
She's so little. Like he was so big, and like really, like he was ready to attack me. And I'm like, I don't care. I laughed at him, and he ended up apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry. Like my brother's playing, and I don't mean to be. I do mean to be obnoxious, but I'm sorry for disrupting your experience. But yeah, I loved that year though. That was a fun year.
My favorite memory of your brother, he got so many Jordan cleats and Jordan shoes that he would have like leftover stuff at his locker, and he would literally stack up all the boxes and he would just yell garage sale in the locker room. And I was like, what? And so everybody would like rush over and try and get shoes that fit. Well, only a certain number of guys wore 13 and a half or 14, and I was a 14. So I'm like grabbing shoes left and right. I had these green and black, sickest Jordan turf shoes that I only wore indoors. I think I wore them for one snow game, but and I think I got fined for it because I could only wear the Nike swoosh. But that was the coolest. He was like the coolest dude. I was like so intimidated, obviously, because he's this great player. But then he comes in and he's like one of the guys. And early in training camp too, he's like, I got something for you. Remind me after training camp. And I was like what? And I was like, more shoes or something cool? And he's like, no. He's like, you're giving away the snap count. And I was like, well, tell me. He's like, well, we're not done with training camp, so I still need to use it until we're done with training camp. Then I'll tell you when we play another team. I'm like, fuck.
So he needed to look good in training camp.
Well, it's not like we were going to cut him. He was doing fine, but he was still using my tell. And so it was when my hands are under center, he gets so damn low that he could see where my hands are. And right before I would snap the ball for real, I would like twitch. So I'd go through all the dummy cadence, wide 80, hut, and my hands would be still. And I was like, blue 80, hut. And so he noticed it and finally told me after. So all during the year, I would switch it up and we'd get all these penalties and stuff. I'm like, this is the coolest dude ever.
That's wild.
He was awesome. Was he cool to you like that or no?
Yes.
Did he give you good advice?
He gave me great advice. I didn't listen to it for a very long time.
Did he give you those Jordans?
I drove him crazy. No, he did not give me these Jordans. But he did. He would let us order. I always had new Jordans for basketball season.
Nice.
He would do that. Yeah. No, he's amazing. He's an unbelievable person, like just in general. He, won, Walter Payton Man of the Year. He's an unbelievable foundation, amazing career, Hall of Famer. Like
he was in the movie 300.
So many people text me when that movie came out, to the point that I was like, yo, are you at 300? Like, I know this isn't you, but like, it's low key messing with me now. There was some other TV show or something that I came across recently, and I was like, I sent him a picture. I was like, this is your whole twin. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, no, so many people tweeted me about that. That's so funny.
Did he get mad about that?
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't really, like, we're kind of the same person. He and I, he's just like he's a male version of me, but I am not as reserved as he is. Like, he is a very...
How about his tongue? You're going to talk.
Yeah.
Joy talks.
Joy Taylor talks. Yeah, he's very calculated, and like part of that is why he had such an amazing career, because he's so good with the media.
Yeah.
And he's very patient, and I am not. I'm not patient at all.
But you're having an equally great career.
Thank you.
Talk about your biggest surprise so far, 2020 NFL.
Biggest surprise? I think it's the Buccaneers.
Really? You didn't think it was going to work?
It's not that I didn't think it was going to work, but it's just worked really well. And everyone was so ready to bury Tom Brady last year. And keep in mind, look at the other teams that have either a new coach or a new quarterback this year. You have the Cowboys, which are an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
You
Panthers.
have the Panthers, who aren't bad,
Okay.
but like, you know, they're still figuring things out. The Giants certainly struggling. They're getting better. They play hard, but they're still struggling. Like Brady went in there like that.
I know.
I said before the season started, we need to give the teams that have new quarterbacks or new coaches. I mean, New England have new quarterbacks or new coaches. There's a little more space because there's no regular offseason. There's no preseason, and I don't love preseason, but it clearly has
But it helps
some
you
value.
work out the kinks, yeah.
Yeah, and especially for teams like that with young quarterbacks, new quarterbacks, or a new head coach.
6 to 10 teams that need it. The rest are just kind of like, yeah, all right,
we have to participate in this. Yeah, so that on top of the fact that it's Brady in his bajillionth season in the league is wild to me. And the Buccaneers surprised me at first. I didn't think that's where he was going to go. But as soon as it was announced, I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense now. And I think it's fun. Like I was talking about on the show today with Colin that, you know, there is some romance to the point with Jason. Like Jason wanted to finish his career with the Dolphins. And everybody loves a good romantic story that, you know, has a happy ending and they stay together forever and they die holding hands, right? But then there's like the rest of the world where stuff changes.
Every other movie.
Every other movie. Yeah, where stuff changes and things are crazy and you don't end up where you thought you were going to end up.
Yeah.
And things don't work out the way that everybody wrote it in the storybooks. And because maybe that experience with Jason and just being around sports enough, and we've seen it with lots of legends. Like Joe Montana didn't finish there. Like there's
Look at LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron is a great example of that. So the whole world's changed as far as the mobility goes, with the quarterback position, which never used to be an option. You always extended the quarterback, and they were never available on the free agent market. So I think it's cool that he's ending his career somewhere that he's able to be competitive, and they're like the best team in the NFC.
I know, that's crazy.
Which if you looked at their team last year and the way that they finished the year, and I've never been a big Jameis Winston fan.
But they were trending in the right direction.
They were. Their defense.
You just switch out the quarterback and say, throw a third of those interceptions.
Which Brady doesn't throw interceptions.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense.
It makes
but a
sense.
lot of stuff on paper looks great and
Yeah,
it makes sense, but how does it actually get executed?
Now with the AB edition, how do we feel?
I mean,
should he be playing or no?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a realist. He was going to get signed, really, to Tampa Bay or to Seattle.
Yep.
You're going to play if you have talent. That's just, it's a competitive world. We know what it is. I don't feel either way about it. Like, I root for interesting. It's interesting. I don't think it's going to work based off of all the information that we have. Like, I'm not rooting for it not to work. I just don't think it'll work. If it does work, great. Congrats. I do think it was Brady's move. I knew Bruce Arians is trying to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, because he said at the beginning of the year something like no, just like a
yeah,
hard
he was
no.
like, it's not happening. And he's worked with AB before with the Steelers.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. They needed him because Chris Godwin is hurt again.
Yeah.
He hasn't played football in a while, and to me, it's just like an absolute no tolerance policy. I mean, there's no risk for them really because if
one Twitter rant, he's out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like he's going to rip apart the locker room. I don't think. Because I don't think they'll let it get to that point. Like, they'll cut him before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Whereas teams in the past have kind of had to deal with it because he's so talented and they've invested so much in getting him there.
The only reason the Patriots got rid of him is because all that other stuff came out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was essentially it. He played fine.
He looked great.
It's not a
everyone's
performance
freaking
issue.
out. Yeah, and again, I think he's just an unbelievable talent, but I also believe that there's certain personality traits that are not
They just can't change.
going to change.
Yeah.
And if you don't have humble in you, and I'm also not a big believer in humble because I don't think you get to the level that you guys get to by being humble.
Right. But yeah, you got to have some swag, a little bit of cockiness.
It's a fine line between the ultimate belief in yourself and being just on the other side.
Right. Like you're invincible or something.
Right.
Or the rules don't apply to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's a fine line there because you have to believe in yourself at the highest level to get to the highest level. I think in anything in life. But once you pass over to the other side, then you see what happens. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see what happens.
Maybe you can fake humble for like 15 weeks, 16 weeks.
I mean, I'm sure he wants to play football. And the NFL is the only place that you can really do that.
Yeah.
Still. So.
Did you like his song, the Urkel song?
I defended Antonio Brown for a long time. I did, because I think he's unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
And I even defended some of the stuff that happened in Oakland. And then the helmet thing, like, it seemed like a lot of guys were upset about
A lot of people were pissed.
the helmet, so I wasn't really mad at him for that. But then it just kind of spiraled, and it was like one thing after another thing after another thing.
It's just those kind of decisions. The helmet thing, it's like, what's it worth?
Yes, of course. What's the win? What's it worth?
Right,
How much drama are you willing to make over it?
Exactly.
But for
me,
me,
I want to make a big stink out of this?
I can't do endless problems.
Right, constant drama.
Everyone's going to have a problem.
Yeah.
That's fine. What's the solution? I'm a solution person. I'm not here to talk about your problems every single day. No, thank you. Yeah. And it's always a problem. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't think there's any risk on their part because they'll cut him if he does anything.
Anything from last week 7, that you thought was just ridiculous, other than DK Metcalf? Holy cow! What was that? That was an avatar. That was not a human.
Good. Yeah,
he was not human. Look at how fast he's running. Look at this head start.
You know what? The crazy thing is someone's in his way too. Like, he didn't even have a straight line. If you watch the beginning of it,
dude, that's ridiculous. Look at this.
Look, he has to run around. He can't even run in a straight line. Still caught him.
What do you think Russ was thinking right there? Whoa.
He's just
so crazy.
He's magnificent. And that really worked out for Seattle because they didn't even get any points out of that. I mean, obviously they ended up losing the game, but that was insane.
That was huge.
I think the Steelers probably, honestly, because that was the biggest game of the weekend to me, the Steelers and Titans.
And Ben didn't play great.
He didn't play great. He did that Ben thing where he throws an unnecessary interception. You're trying to figure out why.
The last one to Juju just seemed like he had been so good, even earlier in that game. Like, he wasn't.
That's what Ben does, though.
Yeah, but not really.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No,
that was a
he's
bad
not.
one.
That
was a defensive
he
team
always
meeting.
does something during the game, but you're like, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
Maybe.
Always.
But he
always takes like some unnecessary sack. He's been playing great.
Yeah.
He was my biggest question with the Steelers coming into the season because they were in the playoff conversation last year with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not like they were in a bad situation this year. I just didn't know what to expect from Ben, and he's been unbelievable. Their defense is incredible, and I thought that was the test. Like, the Titans are the other undefeated team. Yeah. We know they're for real.
They essentially had a goal line stand with that big hit in the backfield on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That was insane.
I talked to Derrick Henry before the last week on my podcast, and I was kind of joking with him about the Steelers, and he was like, yeah, I was like, take it easy on my Steelers, and he was like, they need to take it easy on me. And he wasn't wrong.
He knew.
Like, they shut him down.
Ryan Clark's been talking about that. He said this defense is legit. They can hit. I just remember playing against those guys, and it was either Bart or somebody said, like, that's a Thursday game when we were going to play them. And I was like, no, we play Sunday night. He's like, no, you're going to be sore till Thursday. I was like, oh, shit. These guys play like that.
They do.
And they weren't lying.
They do. The thing about the Steelers that kind of separates them from those other, like, old school teams, and Baltimore is this way too, is that they didn't just invest, and they don't ever just invest in defense. Like, they're going to have a good defense because they play in that division, but they have, receivers are unbelievable every time. They
draft the best receivers, and they pick them out of nowhere.
It's unbelievable.
Other than, like, some of the big name ones, some of these guys come from, like, where? Like, what? Antonio Brown.
Claypool.
Yeah, Claypool's a baller.
It's crazy. So they were, to me, the most impressive. And this week coming up, I think the game against the Ravens, because no one will really feels comfortable putting the Steelers in that top spot.
Unless they beat them.
I think if they beat the Ravens, you have to. They'll be 7-0.
Yeah.
Like obviously the Bucs are the best in the NFC, but they still have 2 losses.
What's the line on that one? Ravens, Steelers.
3.5.
It's at Baltimore.
I don't know. I might put a couple.
Do you bet?
Seashells on that. I do. I don't get crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not like I have a limit on like what I'm willing to lose. I look at it as entertainment dollars.
Okay.
In the budget.
Okay.
So I won't like go if I'm down, like I'm down. Okay, I lost it.
Max.
It's like spending a lot of money on a show or something.
What's your max?
Like if I go to Vegas, it's different though. I'm a girl. Like I don't really need money in Vegas. So I'll pull out like $300.
Must be nice.
It is nice. It is nice. Colin and I were talking about that today. He asked me if I had ever been to a club in Vegas.
What? Did you tell him? Yes, I went to Barry University.
Yeah, I said yes. I had my bachelorette party in Vegas.
Thunder Down Under?
No, we did Chippendales.
Of course.
We did Chippendales. I used to work there. Which, did you really?
No.
They do celebrity features.
Well.
I think it was who was it?
I used to work there in the future.
It was Tyson Beckford was the celebrity feature.
When you were there?
When I was there, yeah.
And
I mean, I was the bachelorette, so I went on stage. You can put two and two together. But Chippendales is really like, it's funny.
Okay, looking forward to Chiefs-Jets. Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, yeah, it is revenge game.
Does he go nuts?
Probably. The Jets are terrible.
100 yards, over, under.
I would say under.
Agreed.
Because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still going to get a lot of carries.
But do you think, like, I feel like Andy Reid's the type of coach that's going to be like, hey, if the ball's inside the 5.
Yeah, and that's what they brought him there for.
Yeah, like, it's happening. Clyde, just let him.
Yeah, but then that's also what they brought him there for, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not a good red zone running back. But I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know that there's that much animosity towards the Jets because they're so bad.
Yeah, it was like he was dating a crappy girlfriend for a little while.
Yeah, that everyone's just over, and like they're so over it, they don't even want to like stick it to her. They're just like, can we just not talk? Like, let's just pretend that didn't happen, and let's all move on. Like, we don't need to like post things on Instagram to upset her. Like, just let that one wither into the wind. It's so bad in New York. It's awful. But I like Le'Veon a lot. I did not think he should have left the Steelers, but I also don't blame anybody for trying to get their money. I thought the Steelers was the best situation for him, and the Jets just did not work out. So I hope he does. I hope he does well in Kansas City.
Yeah, me too. Tua versus the Rams. The fighting.
The Rams are so confusing.
Right, they're so hot and cold.
They're so confusing. Like, they are definitely a good team, but then they have a game, and you're like,
are you?
No, I know they are. I like the Rams, though. I loved how the Rams built their team the year they went to the Super Bowl. I was all in on that.
But that was before they paid Goff.
Make it rain, pay everybody. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they paid everybody. Like, they were using a different bank. They still do that. I'm like, how do you pay all these people? How is this even possible? It's weird. They pay everyone. But I like the Rams. I think the Rams will win, and they're favored, and they should win. But to me, I'm just totally interested in seeing what Tua can do. Yeah. I know everyone was freaking out, like, why you want to put Tua in and he has to go up against Aaron Donald. And I know Aaron Donald is unbelievable.
He's a beast.
But Tua's going to have to play against defensive linemen that play in the NFL at some point in his career. So
every game.
Every single game. That's how that works.
49ers, Seahawks. How about the 49ers staying alive?
We buried them too early. We tried to give them a dirt nap too early. But now I think it actually might be time.
You think?
I know they're playing well, but they have so many injuries.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Didn't Samuel just go down
staggering.
too?
It's staggering.
Hamstring or something?
Yes. They have so many injuries. Like, there's like 15 guys hurt.
Yeah.
So generally teams are going to take a step back after the Super Bowl year. One of them will. Obviously, the Chiefs don't look like they have.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think the Niners are a bad team. They still have a great culture. They still have Shanahan. Jimmy G
They just got hit by the injury bug.
Yeah, I just think there's just
what are your thoughts on Jimmy G? Because he played all right last week.
I like Jimmy G. I think he just has limitations. Yeah. Like, I think everyone freaked out after the Super Bowl. He was one throw away to Emmanuel Sanders from winning the Super Bowl, and we're having a complete different conversation. But them's the breaks. Like, you don't make that throw, and then the narrative is you're not good, and then you play a couple bad games, and, like, that's how the league is. I don't think he's that bad, but I don't know that he's that good either.
It's not elite.
He's not elite, but he can obviously, with the right players around him, have an amazing season and get a team to the Super Bowl, and I think win a Super Bowl. Like, I think he's capable of winning a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's not really a hot take. They were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In a play away. But kind of in a weird way, that play away is the difference, right?
Yeah.
It always comes down to one or two plays.
No doubt.
So I think they'll be back. They're not going anywhere. I just think this is not going to be this year. There's too many good teams in the NFC right now that are playing too well that don't have the injury situation that they do. I don't think it's like a Super Bowl hangover. I just think this is just one of those years.
They just caught a bad break.
Yeah.
The injury bug crushed them. What about the Seahawks? Because Ross took a step back. He's having this red hot year.
Did he take a step back?
What? He threw 3 picks.
I mean, you're allowed one bad game in like
okay, so he just had an off night.
Yeah,
in 8 years. Get out of here.
No, I love Russell Wilson. I love him. Behind Mahomes, he's the best quarterback in the league.
I was just surprised. That game seemed like it was in the bag. It went back and forth, and even in overtime, it was just like, all right.
It was such a fun game.
Those were the games that they were winning this year. You know, like,
I mean, Arizona's a decent team.
Yeah.
So it's not like that was a game that they were necessarily supposed to win. Arizona is a good team. But, yeah, I'm still all in on the Seahawks, and I think they're just going to continue to get better. And Russell Wilson just makes things happen. Their defense is not great at all.
Yeah,
they just got Dunlap.
Yeah.
But that's my question with them. Like, I think they can go all the way, but will they be able to get a stop in a big game?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're like a turnover type defense. They got to get a turnover.
Yeah. Their defense is not good.
Bend, don't break. Too much bend.
Yes, a lot of bend.
Joy's crystal ball. You got your own segment.
What am I? What
Wait,
am I
what are you going to be
predicting?
for Halloween?
Cowgirl.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
What's wrong with the cowgirl?
No, that's cool. I just thought you would.
I love Halloween, but we're not going anywhere, so.
Okay, who makes the Super Bowl? NFC? Seahawks?
So my preseason prediction was the Saints and Ravens.
Yeah, I picked the Saints to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I picked the Ravens to win, but Saints to make it. And I felt like the Saints are going all in with Drew Brees this year, so this was just the year to pick them.
Yeah.
But there's some weird stuff going on with Michael Thomas there, and I don't know. Drew Brees is kind of.
It has been kind of weird.
It's been weird. Like, they're not a bad team, but it's just not been as dominant as I thought they would be early. So now I think it's between the Bucks and the Packers. And if I had to pick between the two of them, I think I would go Bucks.
No
just because
Seahawks, huh?
Well, I just don't think the Seahawks defense is.
They can hold
I think
up.
Russ will win the MVP.
Really?
Yeah, I think Russ is going to win I picked Drew Brees to win the MVP at the beginning of the season, but I amended that. It's definitely going to be Russ. Because once the narrative starts, the MVP is obviously you have to have an MVP season.
Yeah.
But it's a lot about narrative. It's
Yeah.
the same way with the NBA. Like,
I agree.
whatever everyone's talking about, like, that's who's going to be the MVP. And he certainly deserves it. He's never had an MVP vote in his career.
Right.
That's
But
insane.
you can only have one vote. It's different for other. I think the NBA is different, right? Like each writer gets like 3 votes.
So, yeah, so it's like staggered.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can put 2 on LeBron and
But I
one
mean,
for
like,
Giannis.
one, Russ, can you get one vote?
But has he had the MVP season
Russ
where
has,
he's
like,
like
carried
head and
that
shoulders
team.
above everybody? Like I give you my only vote.
I'd have to look at who else has won the MVPs
Right.
in the years that he's been great. But
I
he's,
think that's part of the issue.
probably. But he's going to win it this year. I don't think the Seahawks have the defense to do it this year.
Okay.
But they have many years to come.
So you're
'cause
taking Bucks or
I
Packers?
think I'm going to take Bucks or Packers. I think I would lean Bucks just because I think they have a better defense again.
Okay. AFC?
AFC, I mean, I don't want to go chalk and pick the Chiefs. I picked the Ravens. I guess I can stick with the Ravens.
Steelers?
I don't know.
After this weekend, you'll know.
After this weekend, I will know. If the Steelers beat the Ravens, I'm going with the Steelers.
Whoa, Steel City, stand up.
If not, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Why
Little
not?
Coercion. Top 6 quarterbacks in the league. Ben, Russ, Aaron, Tom, Breeze, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, I didn't say him yet. Go.
Was that 6? That sounded like a lot more than 6.
Start with 6.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
Wait, go reverse.
Go revert. I got to count down.
Tannehill?
So much thinking. No. Not
No.
Tannehill. In the league?
In the league.
Can I just go
Can we
down?
get
It's
the
easier
stats
for
from
me to go
last week?
down. I know Tannehill is playing great. You got to put some respect in Tannehill's name. I understand that. Mahomes, Russell,
Even after 3 picks.
Aaron Rodgers. Yes, even after 3
I'm
picks.
just asking.
Aaron Rodgers, Brady still.
Okay.
Got to be up there. Lamar. That's 5. And
Ben?
Ben.
Why? Because he threw 3 picks? No?
No.
Double standard. Excuse me.
I'm trying to think. I like Josh Allen. I don't think he's arrived quite yet.
Dang, I wanted Josh in there. Sorry, Josh. He's been on the show. So we like
I
him.
like Josh Allen.
You're
I didn't like
partial.
Josh Allen, but he's developed a lot.
Do you like his mustache?
I like mustaches. I'm a facial hair person.
Okay.
I think it's like makeup for men. Like, gives you a jawline. I think it makes you look very distinguished. I don't know. It's just preference. I like Kyler Murray. He's still young, still developing. I mean, I love Deshaun Watson, but I don't know. Can't put him in the top 6 yet.
Who's going to be their next coach?
I don't know. I don't know what to say about Houston. That was just a disaster. I don't like firing coaches midseason.
Yeah, neither do I.
Unless it's a toxic situation, I don't understand the point of it.
Gase?
Gase is definitely fired. 100% fired. And I don't root for people to be
I don't like
fired.
firing
but
coaches
he's
mid-season.
100% fired. No, I don't think there's no
Sounds
point
good.
firing a coach midseason because unless you
I
think
get it.
that whoever the interim is going to be could possibly be the head coach,
Right.
what's the value of firing them midseason other than to
Right.
appease fans? You're
Right.
putting everyone in a position where they don't have any idea what they're doing or what their future is. You completely disrupt the franchise. You're not getting ahead of the coaching search because you can't do the coaching search until the season's over because you don't know who else is going to be fired or who's available or what college coaches are going to be available or assistants can't move. So, like, what's
Right.
the point? Unless it's a situation where people can't stand to walk in the building, I don't get the value of it. And listen,
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien did that to himself. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
There's a reason there's a GM and a head of football operations, and you don't need to do all the jobs.
Yeah.
Because then you get all the blame.
Yeah, you do.
So I didn't love that to begin with, and I hope Deshaun Watson has an incredible career, so they bring in someone that can make that happen because
Me
he's
too.
so fun to watch.
I know.
But yeah, Houston's in a bad spot right now. But they're competitive in every game, though.
It's weird. They're really close.
Yeah.
Watch somebody take over and just go nuts.
I hope so.
Deeper
I hope
in
so.
the
I
draft.
like Deshaun Watson a lot.
Okay, that's Joy Taylor. Dang.
Thank you for having me. This was really
Joy
fun.
Taylor talked at Joy Taylor
Taylor
Talks.
At Joy Taylor Talks. Don't troll me. I will block you immediately, and I will never think of you again. I do not unblock people.
Damn.
I do not have time for that. I have very limited space in my life, and it is not for unblocking people. But check out the podcast, Maybe I'm Crazy Podcast. Obviously, catch me on The Herd, noon to 3, weekdays on FS1, and Thursday night on Prime Video, myself, Bucky Brooks, and Daniel Jeremiah on the Scouts feed, and you can watch on Twitch, twitch.tv/movethesticks.
Bam. Joy Taylor with the news. And that's the news. I love that.
Joy Taylor with the news.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Like, share, subscribe, at Mark_Sanchez, at Fourth and Forever, Instagram, Twitter, all that. You know where to go. Thanks again for having us, and we'll see you soon.